You don't want long-distance relationships. They are not good. They are not worth it. They are soul-sucking, heart-ripping, and genital-neglecting worst-case scenarios. If you meet someone online, they better be near your zip code. If your relationship is heavily impacted by a mileage plan, you need to save yourself and each other, and either one of you's got to move or you both have to move on. People say absence makes the heart grow fonder. No, it makes the heart grow lesions and tumors that will eventually cover it so completely as to cease all function. Absence makes the heart grow colder because the only way I can ever think to endure the trials of separation is to make the emotional distance match the physical one. Distance yourself. It doesn't hurt so much if you deaden yourself, and that's not healthy. But what else are you gonna do? Endure? Resign yourself to being a pen pal for 95% of your relationship? It's the opposite of ideal. I've heard stories about people who apparently met online and fell in love and didn't even see each other in person for the first time until a year later. Dude, what the fuck were you doing? Were you fucking busy? Sorry, my schedule's pretty full from January to December, but I might be able to squeeze you in when the year turns over, and that was told to me as like something to be impressed by, that they didn't meet for an entire year for no actual reason. There were no obstacles, they just didn't do it. What is a relationship to you? How can you care about someone enough to fall in love with them, but not enough to book a flight? How does your brain work? This person's like, that's real love, because they could wait that long to be with each other. But like, why would ya? That's like being hungry and then just arbitrarily deciding to fast for 3 weeks until you're too weak to open your mouth. Not for religious reasons, just cuz. Isn't that an amazing show of fortitude? Oh, totally. Or you could just eat. You could just eat food when you're hungry like normal people. I absolutely do not understand a love that can voluntarily exist without physical contact. Not just sex, but no hugs, no kissing, no cuddling, no just being around somebody and breathing the same air as them, no existing in the same space and being caught in each other's weak gravitational pull. Why are you bothering if you don't want that? In the last 5 years, I've had nothing but long-distance relationships, with the exception of one local one that lasted 2 weeks, but that was a 45-minute drive, so that's not exactly convenient either. I didn't choose to have it that way, but I meet most of my prospects through YouTube, and so there's no guaranteeing they live anywhere close. And with one of those relationships, me and someone super far away fell in love with each other despite our best efforts. We were both fresh out of previous relationships, the timing was ass, but love doesn't wait till you're fucking ready. It just shows up like a party guest a half hour before the party's supposed to start. You're still trying to get things sorted out, and there's this early bird sitting on the couch waiting for the snack plate you haven't made yet. Now you're scrambling. It's stressful. You resent the person's overzealous punctuality while still appreciating what it means that they wanted to be there at your gathering as early as they could, but now you've got to make it work. Or else what? Kick them out? Say come back in a half hour, I ain't ready yet? That's rude. Especially when during that half hour you're passively scoping out other guests you might invite to your party that won't actually be there for the party, but hey, at least you can fuck them guilt-free while you revel in your lack of commitment to the party guest who was early, who now by your anxious dismissal of commitment is the only person on the planet permanently disinvited from your party in the end. That's what happens sometimes when you meet someone who just got out of a long-term relationship. The only thing they can now commit to is a lack of commitment, and despite being in untimely love, despite you being the most important person in their lives, you're the only person they absolutely don't want to see. You're the only one who has to wait. Anyone else can come in like, hey, want to suck my stringless dick? And she can be like, well, if it's an extension of my non-committal freedom, why the hell not? Because she needs to be single, because it's not the right time to be with someone she actively fell in love with, so the only solution is to shove that love aside and partake in unimportant, insignificant garbage until she's ready to hack it in another gosh darn blech relationship. Damn those pesky relationships. Ugh, what drags. How annoying is it to be loved, adored, and cherished by a companion you also love, adore, and cherish? Gee, sure not excited to go through that again, but she doesn't want to lead you on. She wants you to find other people too. She doesn't want to be on the hook. She doesn't want to be important. She doesn't want to be the altar of your monogamous sacrifice. Love can be unconventional. It can ignore the rules, it can forge an untread path, it can ride into the fog of war. But let's hold no illusions that different equals better. Just because it's weird doesn't mean it's fine. There's a reason we've evolved to a point where we can override our evolutionary desires to mass procreate and instead decide on a single mate to stay with and create a family with. Monogamy is the fabric that holds society together. Children with step-parents are worse off psychologically, and that's still a monogamous relationship just happening atop a failed other monogamous relationship. Imagine if you had a dad and a stepdad and another stepdad, and they all fucked your mom daily and were married to her at the same time and were constant staples in your lives. That's a family dynamic out of a horror movie. Two-parent households produce the most stable home situations. There is zero data that refutes this, everyone knows it. But back to a non-committal situation, it's just not feasible to maintain a loving relationship between two people where they both get their rocks off with whoever else they want. There's no sacrifice in that. You can't have it all. It's cheap nonsense. Relationships are forged in commitment, and commitment is built on sacrifice. If you can't commit to someone you love, you don't deserve them. Period. It's just flat out insulting. It's a foot out the door, it's an escape plan. Love is made stronger by sacrifice. Sacrifice is the hallmark of dedication. You're either all in or you're half-assing it. Do you want to be with someone who's half-assing it? It also has to do with the notion that meaningless sex is a privilege. Like, oh, I don't want to commit to anyone because I want to keep the privilege of being able to have sex with whoever I want. Meaningless sex doesn't hold a goddamn candle to meaningful sex. That's like refusing to commit to having prime rib because you're overly concerned with losing the freedom to eat chicken nuggets. Elevate yourself. Wear something nice and have a seat at the fucking table. Being single is only fun for cynics, nihilists, and people who have never had a good relationship. What is it good for? Experience? Maybe if you're 16 and haven't made someone come yet. Beyond that, what are you learning? A bunch of stuff that only applies to the particular person you're with. So it turns out the best way to maximize your experience is to accumulate it with the person you'll be using that experience on the most. What good is leveling up if the skill points you have to choose from aren't relevant to your class? That 10% bonus shotgun damage seems pretty appealing until your shotgun gets replaced down the line with a sniper. Commit to one gun. Then all the skill points you get will apply to it, and you'll have an endgame character that's stacked as hell. Also, for all you 16-year-olds out there, different girls need different methods to achieve orgasm. Your practice with one won't necessarily carry over to the next. Best to just find a girl you really care about and want to be with, and workshop that shit until you get it perfect. Ask questions. Feedback is like head. It's better to give and receive. Also, ladies, don't fake orgasms. You do it in your teens when you're with dudes who have no idea what they're doing, and then you wonder why they grow up thinking they're sexual beasts and that the vagina is the G-spot. Commitment is king. It just is. You don't have to get married 3 months in, but you have to make gestures that affirm your dedication, and nothing gets dedication across like making a sacrifice in the name of the relationship. Doing things for the other person to show that you care about them. There's nothing admirable about giving up nothing, whether it's time, opportunities, or decisions. Sacrifice is a universal gesture that demands to be noticed. When your girlfriend does something for you that she didn't have to do just to make you feel better or to show how much she loves you, you can't not feel it. It worms its way inside your heart, curves your mouth into a smile, and gives you momentary shortness of breath. I always thought taking someone's breath away was just a cliche, but no, it's a literal phenomenon. When something I immensely appreciate happens, my subconscious forgets to breathe, and I have to do it manually to remind it. We've all heard of the ultimate sacrifice, giving your life for something bigger than you or someone important to you, and it's the single most powerful act a human being can do. Sacrifice is powerful. It's moving, and even little sacrifices can have that effect and make all the difference between being unsure of someone and half-assing it with them, or going all in because you see they're willing to go all in with you too. In conclusion, long distance sucks, but no commitment sucks worse. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino to become a channel member and I'll see you guys next time.